This brother right here, he is going to be, I say, a monarch in poetry. So I want y'all to show y'all love and give y'all ears and your hearts to my man, Joshua the Poet.
As he said, my name is Joshua the Poet, and I'm going to try and get away from some of that tragedy that he was talking about and bring things up a little bit. We're at Real Art Tacoma, so I figured I'd share a piece that's about my love for Tacoma. I'm a Tacoma native. I've lived my life throughout this whole country, the Midwest, the South, along the West Coast. Been all the 5 states, but this is home right here. So I'm going to share with you my love for Tacoma. The poem is called My Love Letter to Tacoma. As a child, she was nameless and had an identity known only to those that spoke her native language, nurturing to the tribes that needed her, and when she gave to them, they prayed, then they received her. She is perfect. Son, Elijah. Sorry, y'all, my son's having a little meltdown. Come here, baby. Come on up here. Come on up here, Dad. Careful. All right, stand next to Dad, okay? Sorry about that. I'm gonna start this one over. My love letter to Tacoma. You're making me feel nice and comfortable up here, son. As a child, she was nameless and had an identity known only to those that spoke her native language, nurturing to the tribes that needed her, and when she gave to them, they prayed, and they received her. She is perfect. The geometry of her geography is one of Earth's greatest features. Her body had every curve that is needed, and not just in scenery either. Her majesty just couldn't be tamed. And soon she became discovered by others and was set to be the place for exports and trade. The newcomers, they called it fate, and named you after the mountain before they changed it. Tacoma is now what your name is. And this happened well before we met in the 80s. And to be brought to you was a blessing, and that's how I felt before I even got to know you. But I noticed the sweet things you had, the dome and Wapago, Point Defiance and Island, the fireboat, the waterfront, the tunnel leading to the ferry we used to scream in, Woods Barbershop, Wright Park, the Sonics playing here for a season, Starlight Drive-Through Theater, Frisco Freeze Fast Freddy's, Freight House Square, Chuck E. Cheese's. Just some of the happy memories that you gave me. And then something happened. The image you had of being so attractive got lost, got painted by negativity and gang activity, and suddenly your natural beauty, it became lost. And we both know it didn't happen overnight. Maybe it was the recession of the 90s that brought you into your deep depression, because Salad Shannon and Hilltop were once nice spots, and now we're all filled up with weapons. And schools like Baker and McElvey were supposed to teach kids lessons, and instead of grooming them to be doctors and lawyers, it tried to make them into street soldiers. With no real cause to fight for, this affected all your children. Now, South Tacoma Way is the perfect place for a man to pay for his women. And the drug game from 172nd down to 98th is now just ridiculous, becoming so bad that soon you threw it away, abandoned it, becoming Telecom, Spanaway, and Lakewood. Orphan children always have more problems and hold hatred. I just couldn't take it, so I left you. Others would ask me if you always cried in forms of rain. I said I had never noticed, and truly I didn't, because to me you were always gorgeous. Even when you were going through all of your emotions, Those I met, I left, constantly thinking that someday you change and again you'd be me. And you did. So I came back to you. And again, you were so much different. You seemed at peace, flushed but flourishing. You can now walk down the streets on both the hilltop and the east without the fear that there used to be. And as expected, you had scars to cover up from the abuse that you took. Instead of makeup for your foundation, it was in forms of foundations, bridges and highways, school upgrades and closures, removing those old sore spots and burning all the soil. And again, I enjoyed it. Your grace made me appreciate all the world's people. Every classroom was a melting pot full of different pupils. So beautiful. I wanted to share this genetic strand that you gave those that you gave birth to, with thicker skin and sense and wind, and each kid screams, I'm Tacoma. I wanted to raise a family with you. And with you, I wanted them to experience the same things I did. But lately, you're starting to remind me of the old you, and not that historic, euphoric, full of glory, but that abused kid. I'm seeing the cosmetics you apply slide and the foundations you place have slipped. And it's begun to become caked, and the freeways more jacked, the main streets all cracked from you not wiping away your tears before they covered them. The progress went into the gutter, from them closing your parks and community centers, giving your children no options to start with. I think that they forgot that this is exactly how it started. And now we're going backwards. So let me remind you of what Tacoma has to offer. Love and passion, beauty and grace, pride, inspiration, respect, loyalty, diversity, intelligence, Lincoln, Stadium, Mount T, Foss, and Wilson, Lake CP, and Franklin. Each alike and all the same, but on their own, they're different. I just want you to see what I'm seeing. That you've had far more good history than bad. Like your restaurants that were the hot spots for the family ate on the weekend. We had barbecue peaks and flying booths, and at MSN you get the best sandwiches. At Spud's, that's on the app, and you had to have that table that had that pack-in. At B&I, you could get cheesy rice, your watch fixed, and get all your hair did. Your uniqueness is frequent, but consistent, and there's none other that I'd rather be with. You give views of Mount Rainier and beaches, the Cascade Mountains, and you give us every single season. And I'm not leaving you this time. We're going to get through this together. You remember Galloping Derby, the suspension bridge that swung until it collapsed? You remember what happened? It came back, and with it continued the legend of the giant squid. I want you to learn from this lesson that you can come back from this, like that skippers on 48th Street, again and again and again. My love letter to come. Thank you.